The politician who robbed his country and children. In Songhai, a country in Alkebulan, a boy named Abuku, who was born to humble menial workers in a large urban slum during European colonialism, got a job as a tally clerk at a port after finishing high school in the early 1940s. For 10 years he toiled for low wages at the port where his own father worked as a dock worker. His wages were higher than his illiterate father's, which was why he was pressured into marrying a wife, though he lived in a cramped single-bedroom apartment adjoined to his parents and was obliged to support his parents and siblings. Abuku was ambitious and wanted bigger and better things for himself and his family. The shack his family lived in was deficient in space, amenities, and privacy. But under colonial rule, a native from the wrong tracks like him had very limited choices. So, when the anti-colonial agitation started in the 1950s in Alkebulan, he knew he would join, as he was determined to change his family's circumstances. His only challenge was deciding which political group he would affiliate with. His hometown had two parties whose leaders both courted him to join them. But Abuku was no fool. He did his homework well and realized that none of his hometown parties had a chance to win a national election because of their small footprint in the country. To the dismay of many of his townspeople, he decided to join an outsider party. This was like heresy to many in his community. Abuku was taunted, harassed, and called names like traitor and sellout wherever he went in his native town during those tense times. But Abuku ignored his detractors, quickly becoming his party's chief campaigner in his hometown, the decision that would soon pay off handsomely. As he had calculated accurately, his party of choice defeated his hometown parties in the first national elections, and Abuku became very important in his hometown overnight. Even those who had insulted him during the campaign period meekly turned to him for help finding jobs, contracts, or business opportunities for themselves or their family members. Abuku's star kept rising as he was appointed as a minister in the national cabinet, a job that came with many attractive perks. Within a few years, he married 2 more wives and built 3 nice single-family homes in addition to the modern house he built for his aging parents. His children also grew in number. Being close to the president made Abuku very powerful, as he could get almost anything he wanted. By the 10th year after Songhai's independence, Abuku had married his 4th wife, all of whom bore him multiple children. Each had their own cozy single-family bungalow and a business of their own. His older children all had jobs, and some had their own places and cars. The younger ones vacationed in London when school is out. Abuku himself travels with one of his wives and children to spend a week at a world-famous resort outside Songhai annually. He was living large, enjoying life with his family and closest associates to the fullest. Things got even better when he was appointed Minister of Mineral Resources, which was the crucial ministry that accounted for a lion's share of the government's earnings. Abuku's insatiable appetite for European luxuries grew, and it showed in the way he and his family lived. Rumors persisted that Abuku's life of excess was at the expense of the country. There were allegations that under his watch, proceeds of entire shipments of Songhai's raw mineral exports were unaccounted for. However, using his cozy relationship with the president, Abuku managed to successfully deflect the accusations being lobbed at him by playing the victim for years. He claimed he was being attacked for ethnic or political reasons, something that was not true, but his trick worked as the president ignored calls for his sacking. Instead, Abuku was elevated to a more senior position in the president's cabinet. Anyhow, the allegations against Abuku were true. Abuku held one of the most coveted offices in Songhai and was known for his extravagant lifestyle with his many wives. His public image was one of geniality and piousness, but behind the scenes, Abuku was steeped in corrupt dealings. He was in fact stealing some of the proceeds of Songhai's mineral revenue. Each of Abuku's 4 wives lived in luxury, each managing their own businesses, funded by him. From jewelry stores to high-end fashion boutiques, their lives were the epitome of excess, thanks to Abuku's corrupt activities. It later emerged that Abuku, on one of his many European official business trips as Minister of Mineral Resources, had opened a secret bank account in Switzerland where for years he would deposit funds he received as kickback from sleazy European businessmen and money he was siphoning from Songhai's mineral sales. With that stash, Abuku was looking forward to a very happy and prosperous retirement. However, the gods of poor Songhai had a surprise for Abuku. While only 58, the hale and hearty-looking Abuku fell sick suddenly and died only a day later without a will. His large family was shocked and confounded. None of his 4 wives knew much about his finances, especially his nest egg in Switzerland, which was a top secret he intended to keep hidden until he retired. Even his oldest son, by his first wife who was in his 30s, did not know the details of his father's foreign bank account. Besides suspicions, none of the others had any clue either. Thus, soon after Abuku's passing, his 4 wives started fighting over his known assets. And rumors about his secret bank account in Switzerland only made matters worse as it tore his family apart, setting them on a collision course. The 3 junior wives and their children pointed fingers at the first wife for trying to cheat them of their inheritance. To complicate matters, some of Abuku's siblings also claimed that he had promised to bequeath them some landed properties, though he never formally made those transfers or mentioned it anywhere in his papers. The infighting soon turned into a public scandal that laid the late Abuku's dirty secrets bare. Abuku's older children who knew of the Swiss account had no access to its details. So the family's attempts to retrieve the money failed, as they couldn't provide the necessary information to claim the funds. In the end, neither his family nor Songhai received the millions of dollars Abuku had looted from Songhai's treasury. With no one listed as a primary beneficiary, the Swiss bank account remained inaccessible. The once wealthy family fell from grace, their businesses crumbling as they fought over the remnants of Abuku's estate. Some of Abuku's children left Songhai in search of greener pastures. Most ended up struggling for a living. Abuku's story is a cautionary tale of how unchecked greed, corruption, and lack of patriotism can haunt one's children. His legacy in Songhai is not one of leadership and patriotism, but of corruption, scandal, and a family torn apart. Not many Songhais feel sorry for the family. Poetic justice, many said. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more African stories inspired by actual events.